Welcome back to Dugman Junction and Highfield Road YouTube channel. My name is Wayne, and ultimately today this is the penultimate video coming from Dugman Junction. Now, if you haven't guessed already, the subject of this video is going to be the model form of the Class 50 and a little bit of history in very short form of the model and from where it started to where it is at the moment. I also want to give a special shout out to Plymouth North Road Station, Steve. He's one of my subscribers who's very kindly sent me 50021 Rodney in the Lima form. I'll leave a link to his channel in the video below, so please go out there and support him. He's been kind enough to send me this locomotive so I can make this video today for you guys. So I hope you enjoy it. So as we bring the camera onto the TMD now, let's give you a little bit of a history lesson. So by all means, feel free to skip this if you need to. The Lima Class 50. Now this model was originally released in, I believe, 1984. It is a DC model. However, there are now advances in technology, let's say, where you can convert these Lima models to DCC. There is a video on my channel of how to do that, which I can put a link down below for you. So they are DCC compatible if you're willing to obviously do the modifications. But initially, upon their release, obviously we didn't have DCC then, so they were all DC. Now, they were, like I said, they were out in about 1984, and they were a mainstay on quite a lot of people's layouts. Good models for their times as well. They did obviously feature the pancake motors, and it, you know, as you probably know, it did depend on which pot luck really, the old pancake motors, but when they ran well, they were good solid motors. And yeah, speaking for myself, I spent many happy hours when I was a youngster up in the loft on my dad's model railway running Class 50s around solo or double or even triple headed, and with no problems at all. They always just fly around the layout, you know, as a kid. It's what I remember, and they're absolutely brilliant. And then we obviously, as times change, we move on 20 years to about 2004. Then Hornby, they decided they were going to bring out a Class 50. Now that's the one in the middle of your shot there, 50005. Now 005 is not a version of the Class 50 which Hornby have actually brought out. That is actually a rename and number I've had commissioned there, but it shows you the model in its form anyway. Yeah, so like I was saying, come out in 2004. Obviously they all come out DCC ready, so you could go ahead and put your chips in there and obviously run them digitally. And then later on in the life of the Hornby Class 50, they started at the Hornby digital sound files, then later the Hornby TTS sound files, and now even later on in down the road, I think we've got to, I don't know, let's say, I'm just trying to think now off the top of my head, it's got to be about 2024 maybe. They brought out their TT range, which is obviously between N gauge and 00, and now they started doing the 50s in the TT range as well. So that's a very brief history there on the on the Lima and the Hornby 50s. But what's now come to market, which is really, in my opinion, blown the other two out the water, is Accurascale. And obviously you would have seen this all over YouTube over the last year or so. But the first release of the Accurascale Class 50, I believe, if memory serves me, was in about May 25. Correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, they were all obviously distributed, and now they've announced a second run as well. So again, the Accurascale form is at the back of the shot, and that again is another 50021 Rodney. I think the most important thing is now, I'll just quickly show you some subtle differences in the locos. I'm not going to go mad with it, and then obviously we'll show the trains running around. So first, let's take a quick look at 50021 Rodney, which is being released by Lima. Now, they were very basic locomotives, but very good in their own right. They had as you probably know, they got a lightweight chassis. So obviously you got like the decouplings at the front, which you can see, and the removable buffers as well. And yeah, so they obviously were less intricate detail compared to like other more modern versions of the Class 50, like the Hornby and the Accurascale, obviously because of the time frame in which they've come out. So they haven't got things like the sprung buffers, and they've got a lot fewer detail parts as well. So like they haven't got any of the vacuum pipes or anything like that. It's very much just the decouplings, removable buffers, glazings, and that is more or less it. It's power from one, like I said before, power from the Ringfield motor. So yeah, very, very, very basic. Still very, very good models if you're on a budget. You know, I've still got a few Lima classes of models in our collection which I use, which are converted to DCC, and they still go strong. They do require a little bit more of upkeep, but once you put the work in, absolutely fine, and still work brilliantly. But yeah, like I said, due to affordability of them, you know, they can be very popular for people starting out in the hobby. So yeah, that's the Lima variant. We will move on to the Hornby one now and have a quick look at that. So then we got on to 2004, when Hornby brought out their variation of the Class 50. Now, they marketed these as super detailed locomotives, and they were quite advanced from what you come to expect from a Lima loco. So the Hornby put lots of new features in this locomotive, like a 5-pole motor with a twin flywheel, all-wheel drive and pickups, and a detailed die-cast chassis. And all of that was obviously to help improve the weight of the locomotive and also the running capabilities. They also come DCC ready, so you could run them obviously DC or DCC, and you could also add in your own sound files if you wanted to do that later on down the road as well. And these also feature directional lighting as well, and also movable louvers, which as you probably know if you've got these locomotives, are an absolute pain in the you know what, because they're very, very fragile and they like to fall apart. You also have the working fan in the locomotive as well, which was a nice little feature, but on some of the locos it did hinder the performance, so you'd have to snip the band away, unfortunately. But yeah, in summary, that is the Hornby Class 50. Very good locomotive. We've had them in our collection for a fair while now, and yeah, we'll now move on to the Accurascale version. Now, if you haven't guessed already, this is the Accurascale version of the Class 50. This was released in May this year, 2025. And yeah, lots of improvements from the Hornby variant. One to touch on is the louvers. They're a lot more reliable and they don't fall apart as easy. The fan motor has been improved as well. It runs at speed. So with the real locomotive, the rad fan basically doesn't run all the time. It only runs when it hits a certain temperature, and also the temperature of the fan, the temperature loco dictates how quickly or how slowly the fan works as well. And they've captured that really well in this particular locomotive. The other things Accurascale have done on this one, obviously this is a DCC sound fitted version of the loco. They are available in DC, DCC ready. But this one has got the Lock Sound V5 decoder with a customised sound Accurathrash sound file in it. Twin speaker. It's also got a hall sensor for automatic gland squeal and other sound effects. And it's also got a factory fitted stay alive capacitor as well. So it obviously helps with the improved running. Other little things it features this locomotive as well is like illuminated cab desks lighting and also internal cab lighting as well. And they can all be controlled independently from the decoder. So you probably know a lot of that already, so I'm not going to go in any more depth or detail about the Accurascale Class 50, but it is a fantastic model. Lima version, brilliant if you're on a budget and you're just getting started out. Hornby one is still a good loco and I'll continue to use them moving forward, but the Accurascale one I think stands out as the best out of all of them, and yeah, they're a welcome addition here on Dugmer Junction. So without further ado, let's do a bit of running with each one now, and I hope you've enjoyed the video.